So yesterday, Joe Biden set media and social media ablaze because he pardoned his son, Hunter Biden. Here's his statement. He says, "Today I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision making, and I kept my word, even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. Without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon as a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filled out a gun form. Those who were late paying their taxes because of serious addictions but paid them back subsequently with interest and penalties are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. The charges in his cases came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me and oppose my election. Then a carefully negotiated plea deal agreed to by the Department of Justice unraveled in the courtroom, with a number of my political opponents in Congress taking credit for bringing political pressure on the process. Had the plea deal held, it would have been a fair, reasonable resolution of Hunter's cases. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. In trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me, and there's no reason to believe it'll stop here. Enough is enough." Okay, so that is the statement. Let's see how other people are responding. This is what Trump said back in October before the election. It says, Trump says he's open to pardoning Hunter Biden. I happen to think it's very bad for our country. Donald Trump said Thursday he's open to pardoning Hunter Biden if he's reelected, a significant reversal after years of lobbying attacks at the legal issues faced by the president's son as part of his Biden crime family talking point. I wouldn't take it off the books, Trump told conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt when asked if he would consider pardoning Hunter Biden, who was found guilty in June of 3 felonies in a federal gun charge trial and pleaded guilty in September to federal tax charges. He said, "See, unlike Joe Biden, despite what they've done to me, where they've gone after me so viciously, despite what, and Hunter's a bad boy," the former president said. "There's no question about it. He's been a bad boy. All you had to do is see the laptop from hell, and I happen to think it's very bad for our country." So that's what he said at the end of October. This is what he said yesterday on his Truth Social network. He said, does the pardon given by Joe to Hunter include the January 6th hostages who have now been imprisoned for years? Such an abuse and miscarriage of justice." Now, I really do not like the way Donald Trump and many of his MAGAs and other Republicans are acting like these January 6th people were not failed insurrectionists that were responsible for unaliving people, harming people, destruction of property, trying to overthrow an election. Think about the charges and how these things differ. Yes, I mean, Hunter deserves some repercussions and consequences for their actions, but it does not make January 6th failed insurrectionists hostages. Okay, now this is Dinesh D'Souza. He is responding to the pardon, saying, "No one is above the law except my son Hunter." And to that, Brian Tyler Cohen says, "You were literally pardoned by Trump." These people have very short memories, but we have the Google. Back in 2018, Trump said, "We'll be given a full pardon to Dinesh D'Souza today. He was treated very unfairly by our government." Dinesh D'Souza, why did Trump pardon the provocateur? On Thursday morning, Donald Trump announced that he would use his presidential powers to pardon Dinesh D'Souza, who had pleaded guilty in 2014 for campaign finance violations. It marks the latest twist in the rise, fall, and Trump-facilitated rehabilitation of the Indian-born conservative author, lecturer, and all-around political provocateur. It is also the latest example of Mr. Trump flexing his presidential powers in a way that is markedly different from his predecessors and could have serious implications for U.S. politics. I know people are going to have things to say about Biden pardoning his son, but it seems really strange that somebody who got a pardon themselves for doing illegal stuff is sitting up here clutching pearls and hand wringing. I saw this meme on Reddit. They're saying conservatives when Trump pardons the Blackwater mercenaries who murdered 14 Iraqis. Eyes are closed. But this is conservatives when Biden pardons his son. Eyes wide open. It's like, oh my God, what? So let's go back to this. Who was it that Trump pardoned? He pardoned the Blackwater contractors jailed for massacre of Iraq civilians. They unalived, they murdered a bunch of civilians. Donald Trump has pardoned 4 security guards from the private military firm Blackwater who were serving jail sentences for murdering 14 civilians, including 2 children in Baghdad in 2007, a massacre that sparked an international outcry over the use of mercenaries in war. 4 guards, Paul Sloth, Evan Liberty, Dustin Hurd, and Nicholas Slatton, were part of an armored convoy that opened fire indiscriminately with machine guns, grenade launchers, and a sniper on a crowd of unarmed people in a square in the Iraqi capital. So that is what they did. They opened fire and Trump pardoned them. So all of the hand wringing about, tax forms and a gun form and all of that and not paying taxes on time, how does that compare to this? And of course, I went to the conservative subreddit to see a few of their reactions. This is a surprise to no one. Stress Ball says, it's a surprise to me that he didn't do it 25 days ago. Sleight of Hand says, I'm pretty surprised. When Biden came out so strongly saying he wouldn't do it, then met with Trump for so long, I thought there was some kind of deal being made where Trump would pardon Hunter instead. And this person says, imagine the tweet. He begged like a dog. And maybe Trump did say something where he was like, I'm going to make y'all beg for this, but I'll do it. I'll do it because I think Trump maybe did want to. Beazle Buttcheek says, it's fairly normal. Trump even pardoned Lil Wayne before. This person says Kodak Black. This person says, and Charles Kushner. And Advanced Pair says, that's former felon, now pardoned ambassador of France, Charles Kushner, to you. Okay, let's look into that a little bit. Trump wants pardoned real estate developer Charles Kushner to become U.S. ambassador to France. And this is a new article. It says, Trump said on Saturday he intends to nominate real estate developer Charles Kushner, father of Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to serve as ambassador to France. Trump made the announcement in a Truth Social post, calling Charles Kushner a tremendous business leader, philanthropist, and deal maker. The elder Kushner was pardoned by Trump in December 2020 after pleading guilty years earlier to tax evasion and making illegal campaign donations. Prosecutors alleged after Charles Kushner discovered his brother-in-law was cooperating with federal authorities in an investigation, he hatched a scheme for revenge and intimidation. So he has tax evasion that he was pardoned for. And so, I need people to simmer down a little bit because Trump pardoned this person. And like this person, Philip says, all of these things can be true. Hunter Biden broke the law. Hunter Biden traded on his last name to make money. Hunter Biden's actions were exploited and widely exaggerated by unscrupulous Republicans in an effort to damage his father. And they're doing so despite the fact that so many in their camp are not victims, perpetrators of SA. They're tax evaders. They break voter laws and all of that, campaign laws like Dinesh D'Souza. So I need, and then like I said before, Trump has pardoned actual murderers. BFing for. And then finally, I'm going to end with this. If you said nothing when Donald Trump pardoned donors, cronies, extended family members, and war criminals, then sit down and shut up about Joe Biden pardoning his own son. Just shut up. This pardons are literally par for the course. It happens, and you can literally look up who was pardoned by which president and what they were actually accused of, and see how they compare. I know people are going to say, "Well, I thought liberals were better than that," and blah blah blah. At this particular juncture, to even say that is silly, and to expect some father to beg for his son to somebody like Trump is also quite silly. Anyways, I do want to know what you think about all of this. Join the conversation. I know that this is going wildly crazy, so I'm sure we're going to see lots of think pieces and news articles. But join the conversation now. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.